Hello, everybody. Welcome back to, I think, what we've got to start calling a Tottenham therapy session. It is the aftermath of another game, of more drop points for Ange Postecoglou, and just another pretty uninspiring performance, if I'm being honest with you. Drawing 2-2 with Wolves, it means we've lost more ground on the teams above us, and I think we could end up in 13th or 14th if all the other results go against us over the course of this evening and tomorrow being Monday night. It is really, really tough for Tottenham at the moment. More and more problems just seem to be piling up and piling up. Today, we had it all. Went 1-0 down early, as we so often do at home. Just start out on such a bad front. Fraser Forster went down with an injury at one point, and we were thinking we were going to have to move on to our third choice goalkeeper, which would have been Brandon Austin. Destiny Udogie limped off with what looks like a hamstring problem, which means we're probably without yet another defender for the foreseeable future. And then to make things even worse, Rodrigo Bentancur picks up a yellow card with about a minute to go in the game, meaning he is now suspended for the game against Newcastle. Next up, a really, really important game for Ange Postecoglou and Tottenham in general for their season defining almost at this stage. The first game of 2025 is going to be an absolute huge one, and he's not going to be about for it because a bit of ill discipline for being frustrated at the end of it, having just served a 6-match ban as well and coming back and doing that. Not really any excuses for it. Heung-min Son misses a penalty in the game and then gets subbed off 64 minutes in. Was pretty poor again, I thought. Timo Werner had another really disappointing cameo. There was a lot to not like again, and I hate saying it. I hate coming on here after a game and having to talk about what went wrong and what was bad for Tottenham in these games, but I can't see too much positive at the moment. I think the main thing for me that came out of it is we and others and everyone, this isn't, I've sort of changed my tune a little bit on this over the last week or so, but people have been saying Ange Postecoglou has no plan B. He doesn't adapt to games and different situations the way that he should. Well, he did today. He did today. Tottenham went 1-0 down, and we did really well to get ourselves back into the game and then in front. So we find ourselves coming out for the second half 2-1 up, in a good position to go on and win that game against a team who have been fighting relegation, by the way. I know they've got a new coach, Wolves, in Vitor Pereira, who's been doing really, really well for them. But Tottenham Hotspur should be winning that game at home to Wolves today. Injuries or not, it's just something that shouldn't even be questionable in my humble opinion. But we struggled, and it was a very different performance from Tottenham today because we sat back in the second half and we absorbed the pressure and we tried to hit them on the counter-attack. It's something we don't see very often under Ange Postecoglou, but I feel like it's something he had to do because we have so many tired legs, we have so many injuries. He's just said in his post-match press conference that Radu Dragusin, who did manage to make it through that injury against Forest to play, still wasn't 100% fit for this one today. But he said Radu had to play because if he didn't know who was going to play at centre-back next to him because we've got no options left. Okay, you could argue, those of you that are very critical of him, that he should turn to the academy and Dorrington, but we have to appreciate that the step up to Premier League level from academy level is 100-fold, not even 10-fold. So you can understand why he's maybe cautious about that, especially with the way that the game is and the pace that it's played at these days. I think one of the most disappointing things for me today was it just looked like there was a bit of a lack of care and a lack of fight from the players. It looked like Wolves wanted it so much more than us, and it shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be that way. I think Mateus Cunha was by far the best player on the pitch for either team. Completely and utterly better than any one of the Spurs players on the pitch. The best Wolves player. And I tell you what, I would love for us to go out in January and splash the cash on him because he is something else. He is absolutely incredible. I don't really know what to make of the performance, really. I sat there in the aftermath of the game. I was sit there literally like this in my chair, albeit I've moved it from the other room. And I was sat thinking, is that the end? Is that the end for Ange? Is that him done? Having reflected on it for about an hour or so now, I don't think it is. However, Our next games, guys, our next games are so tough. Newcastle, Liverpool, Arsenal, the next three. Um, and I am struggling to see where we pick up any points. Liverpool and Arsenal is away, Newcastle at home. So we could be finding ourselves still on 24 points coming towards the end of January. And who knows what the teams below us are going to be doing by then. We could be in a relegation battle by then. So I'm struggling. I'm struggling to find words of encouragement for Ange, someone who I want to succeed at the club, albeit he is operating at the moment with two hands tied behind his back and both legs as well. You know, we ended the game. Sergio Reguilon had a 30-minute cameo for Tottenham today. Someone who, you know, was gone, was distant. I think Ange had absolutely wanted nothing to do with him ever since he's walked through the door. But yet here he is having to play. We have to bring on Timo Werner because that's our only option for fresh legs. James Maddison came on in the 70th minute. I do have a bit of an issue with that because I do think he should have started. I think Maddison, he is, or was, don't know if he still is now, in the top 5 for goals and assists in the Premier League this season. And he hasn't started either of Tottenham's last 2 games. It makes me wonder whether his relationship with Ange really isn't very good. I just, I struggle to see why we wouldn't have our chief main creator at home playing from the off in a game that we are desperate to win. I don't know if it's to do with tactics or whether to do with maybe just a bit of falling out in personnel. Maybe Ange thinks he's too tired. Yet you've got Dejan Kulusevski, who looks dead on his feet and has done for the last 2 games, starting. And when he's not ticking, Tottenham struggle to tick. Another game where Son wasn't able to step up for us, missing a crucial penalty. When you look at the actual result of the game, you know, we score that penalty, we score 3 goals. Likelihood is we win a game. So yeah, it's just very difficult because all it took for Wolves is for them to bring on Rune Larsson, and he just bullied Archie Gray. He's way bigger than him, way stronger than him. And when you're up against an 18-year-old midfielder as a striker the size of Larsson, you're probably sitting there thinking, "Cool, yeah, this is a bit of me. This is going to be a bit for me right here." And yeah, it's just more problems. It's more problems, and I'm really struggling at the moment. I'm really getting quite down about it, if I'm being quite honest and transparent with you guys. Those of you that know me and have watched me for a while or follow me over on Twitter, you'll know that I play a lot of football. I work in football, so I'm writing about football all the time. I do this on the side, TikToks, YouTube, podcasts, all about Spurs and football on top of everything else. So Tottenham are on my mind 24/7, and I always find it very difficult to switch off from it and disassociate from it, just because of what my life is and my lifestyle is when it comes to all of that. So yeah, I don't know if anyone else is feeling like that. Let me know in the comments if you are. It'd be nice to know if I'm not alone right now. But it's really tough. I think the big lesson for me coming out of today's game is that Ange changed his tactics and he went with a different plan and a different approach, and it still didn't work. And for me, that's why I still feel like it's better to play on the front foot and play aggressively. In my last video, I said Ange has to swallow his pride and change and adapt, and he does to an extent in terms of game management and stuff. But I'm just starting to think now, with all of these injuries piling up, it can't just all be bad luck. It can't all be bad luck with the amount that we have. Maybe the players are just being pushed way too hard in training. I know Ange loves to train at like match capacity in terms of if we were playing a Premier League game. I just don't think it's sustainable. I'm questioning whether there is this balance here now. What is the balance for Ange? How does he find that balance to get results and not kill everybody in the process? I'm pulling at strings, and I know a lot of you watching this will be thinking he's done, he's gone. There's no way back for Ange Postecoglou now, and I can see why you think that. I still haven't turned. I still would keep him. I still would give him the January market. I still would wait for Romero and Van de Ven and Vicario to come back. But I doubt. I saw a report the other day that said Spurs have about 30 million to play with in January. If that's the case, we're going nowhere. We're going nowhere. And it just has the inevitable feeling that 18-month cycle is approaching, where we get to the 18-month point and we sack the manager. And I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want to have to do this all over again. I want to see it through. And I've said this a million times on this channel, and I know there were a lot of comments on the last video on both sides saying, you know, what's Ange supposed to do? Look at this injury list. And I agree, the injury list is utterly ridiculous. But also the performances are uninspiring as well. We missed a lot of chances today as well. And in a moment where we need confidence and we need just that win to get us back on track, we can't seem to find it. And maybe that opportunity's passed now with the games that are coming up. It's going to be a very, very difficult January. And things are not looking great at the moment. I could hear the chants inside the stadium today of Levy out and, you know, the song involving Kulusevski. It's just all very toxic. I saw a lot of half and half scarves. Saw a lot of half and half shirts with Hwang Hee-chan and Hyun Min Son. The feeling of the football club, the feeling around the football club, it's not great at the moment. It's really, really bad. And for me, perhaps this Newcastle game is do or die for Ange. Maybe that's the final straw. I feel bad for the guy, but football doesn't wait forever if the results are that bad. And when you get a whiff of being dragged into a relegation fight, which we are, that's when things can start really not going in your favour. And while the reports all say Ange retains the support of the board and everyone above him, etc., you know, there is a certain line that you don't cross. And how long does he get? I hope he turns it around. And I'll say this at the end of every video until he does eventually get sacked or whatever happens. But it's not looking great at the moment, you know. So let me know down in the comments. What did you think of the game today? What is the biggest issue at Tottenham? Is it Ange? Is it the personnel? Is it the players? Is it Daniel Levy? What is it? Let me know. Do you think this is the end for him? Can we turn this season around? The cup competitions are still there, but are we good enough to actually win any of them? Let me know. Make sure you like the video. Let me know how you're feeling. Subscribe to the channel. There might be one more video before New Year, but this could well be my last video before 2025. So I do want to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you. Having only really started this channel a few months ago, to have grown it to nearly 2,000 subscribers is absolutely amazing. So thank you so much to those of you that are supporting and watching and listening to what I have to say. It means a hell of a lot, and I've got some big plans for 2025. So share me around, get your friends to subscribe, you know, do it all, do anything you can. And yeah, I hugely appreciate it. But anyway, we're all in this together, and let's hope things start getting a bit more positive soon. So thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your New Year celebrations. I hope you all had a lovely Christmas. I will catch you soon, but for now, come on you Spurs, stay positive.